Hey, what's up? John Sonnemus here from SimpleProgrammer.com. So today I want to talk about aggression versus anger and the three only ways that you have to deal with any problem that you're facing or any situation that you're in. So first of all, let's talk about aggression versus anger, right? So anger is a response that we have when something doesn't go our way. Most of the time we get angry when we have some expectation that's not being met. We expect something to happen this way. We want something to go our way or what we consider to be our way. It doesn't go our way. As a result, we feel anger, okay? But aggression is when we actually take action. And so anger and aggression are not the same thing, all right? And a lot of people get this confused because a situation goes wrong, and instead of taking an aggressive action, all right, in response to it, they take an anger response and they become angry, and it doesn't serve them. It actually makes them appear weaker. It clouds their thinking. It prevents them from acting rationally. Whereas the proper response a lot of times when you feel angry, or when you would have felt angry, is just to take an aggressive stance, is to be aggressive or assertive in order to make things be what you want them to be, or to change the situation in some way, or remove yourself from the situation. So that brings us right into the three ways that you can deal with things. So the reason why I want to make this video is because a lot of people react instead of respond to situations. And reaction is anger, okay? Responding is usually some form of aggression or some form of asserting yourself, right? That is going to change your situation in some way, or improve your condition, or help you to get what you want, as opposed to anger, which just makes you feel bad and make bad decisions, right? The reaction versus responding. As much as possible, you want to try and respond to things in life instead of reacting to them. Reacting is an emotional thing that happens, and you're going to have instant reactions, emotional reactions, but you have to let those go and then make a logical, rational decision about what action you're going to take, okay? This is that difference between reacting and responding. You're always going to have some kind of reaction to a thing, but what you actually choose to do and what you actually choose to dwell on is your response, right? So you want to have a calculated response. You don't want to have something trigger you and then you instantly jump into the reaction mode and your reaction controlling your action. You want to have instead something that triggers you or triggers some kind of reaction in you. And then there's a pause here where it goes through your brain, okay, and maybe you feel the emotions or the feeling or whatever's going on. You let that go, and instead you reframe it and you decide how that you're going to respond to a situation. And so you have that initial reaction, but then you have a calculated response which comes before your action, right? Your action is not tied directly to your reaction. And for some of you, this is going to sound really, really basic, but let me get into three ways that you can respond to anything that's going on in your life, any problem, something that would normally cause you anger. Because you have anger and frustration when you feel like you don't have choices, or you don't have options, or things aren't going your way. So anytime you have a problem, anytime something happens in your life that you do not like, you have one of three options. The first option is that you can remove yourself from the situation. Okay, so you can always remove yourself from a situation, or almost always. This is one way to respond to things, is by just saying, you know what? I'm going to leave. I'm not going to deal with this. I'm not going to deal with you. I'm not going to be in this relationship. I'm not going to be in this room. I'm not going to stand here and take this. Whatever it is, you can just remove yourself from it. Or you can just say, I'm not investing in this anymore. Emotionally, I don't care. I'm removing myself from this, right? And so I don't have to be angry because I don't have an expectation. I'm done, right? So that's one. Okay, so removing yourself is one option, and it almost always exists, okay? The next option is that you can change the situation, okay? So this isn't always an option, but in many cases, the proper response is to actually change the situation. Something's pissing you off. Something is not going your way. Someone is not doing what you want. You can perhaps change the situation. Now, you can't change what other people do, okay? You can't change how other people feel directly, but maybe you can do something about it, right? So you should think, is there something I could do that would change the situation, that would change the outcome, that would change this from being something that I don't want to something that I do want, okay? So that's your second option, your second reaction that you can do in response to something that has upset you, okay? The third one is you can change yourself. So you can change your perception of it, and your own perception of that reality and decide how you want to interpret that situation. So if something goes bad or something goes wrong, you can be adamant that this is what you want, is I want things to be this way. Or you could perhaps say, look, all right, I'm accepting how fate has dealt this hand. I'm accepting the way things are going. I'm accepting it. I'm accepting it instead of trying to fight against it. Because see, what happens in most cases when you get angry, when you get frustrated, is that you're seeing reality, but you're rejecting reality. You're saying reality has done this. This is what's actually happened, but I reject it. I don't want to believe this reality. I don't like this reality. Right, and it puts you in a position where you're powerless. Okay, and so that's why it's so important to realize that you only have three options. Right, the three options, like I said, is that you can either remove yourself from the situation. Okay, that's still facing reality. You see the reality, you don't like the reality, you remove yourself. Change it. Can you change reality? You can't change reality always, but if you can change it, don't get angry, do something. Take some actual action that's going to be productive action rather than just reacting and getting angry. Getting angry about something, getting upset about something, worrying about something, it doesn't fucking do anything. Removing yourself does. Changing something, if you can, does. And the third one, changing your own belief or changing your own perception or how you choose to feel about a situation, accepting it. You could say accepting reality also solves the problem, right? If you can just say, okay, well, this is a new reality, I'm accepting reality, then you're not upset, you're not angry anymore, right? You're not frustrated because you've just accepted things. And I'll give you a hint here. A lot of times, the best thing that you can possibly do is just accept reality. Accept what it is. If you practice this, if you get more used to accepting things, you're going to get less angry. And I'll give you some examples here. You know, I used to get really angry in traffic. I used to get angry when I was driving, or even when shit like dumb stuff would happen, like I'd spill something or I'd drop something, and I'd get angry and I'd get frustrated about that kind of stuff. And then you know what I started to do is I started to create this little feedback loop where as soon as I got angry about something like driving and getting stuck in traffic or someone cutting me off, and I realized this is stupid. All I have to do is accept this. This is what happened. It doesn't matter. It's what happened. I accept it. Not a big deal. Now I don't feel angry anymore. Now I feel silly if I feel angry about something that is real. I mean, what am I doing? Am I fighting reality? Am I angry about, you know, the situation, and I'm not able to change it? It's not effective, so I might as well accept it. And so again, this is just something, if you can't do number one or two, if you feel like you don't want to, or you can't remove yourself from the situation, and you feel like you can't change the situation, what other alternatives do you have? You can either, now you're down to that whole anger versus aggression thing. You can get fucking angry, or you can accept it, right? I guess the anger versus aggression is really like, are you gonna take some kind of action? Okay, that would be number two. But if you're not removing yourself and you're not able to take some kind of action, then you're only left with one alternative, which is to accept it or to just be angry and be in denial of reality. So always choose acceptance when you get to that position, because the other one doesn't give you any kind of benefit at all. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't help you in any way to be angry, and it actually clouds your judgment and makes you less in a position to make a good decision, right? So there you go. That's it. That's all I got for you today. If you like this video, if you haven't subscribed already, make sure you click the subscribe button below. Click the bell so you don't miss any videos. I'll talk to you next time. Take care.